Greetings, dear soul sister. Hello, Anna. I felt very called just to create a solar return reading for you. So I hope that you are going to enjoy this. We are coming into our season. I know you can feel it, your birthday, Dia de Muertos, the Halloween. Woo, it's all coming into play. And this morning, Fletcher and I went outside and there was fog everywhere. It was very moody. Creel has been very moody. It's had like dark clouds and rays of sun coming through. So it's been really interesting to watch it. But I told Fletcher, I said, well, we have a witch, we have a cat, uh, we have the fog. All we need now is a pumpkin. All we need is a pumpkin. So I'm hoping I can manifest a pumpkin when I go to the super a little bit later. Today's reading, I felt really called to do 4 key themes throughout this next solar return. So the next, 360 days after your birthday. And we're going to use your deck, the Witch's Tarot. I loved your Nightmare Before Christmas tarot. This is so cool. I love the characters and everything about it. So we're going to pull 4 cards from this deck. And then we're going to do sort of one overarching energy, one theme for your entire year from the Sacred Rebels, because that's who you are, my friend. So let's get started and let's see. Thank you, Spirit. We are going to ask for 4 overarching themes for this next solar return for Ana Borja. Okay, this one wanted to come forward. Okay. Ooh, that one's flying out over here. Let me go get it. All right. 2 more messages. Thank you, Spirit. All right. All right. Nice, nice. Okay, and let me pull one clarifying. Well, I think I'm going to do that afterwards. So let's tap into your themes. So I'm going to take a little pop of my herbal tea here. My hair's kind of wild because I just got out of bed, but all right, let's dive in. So the first card we get, I think kind of reflects perhaps your current energy. And this is the 9 of Swords, okay? 9 of Swords. So I know that you've been working a lot, not only at home, but also watching the kiddos and just trying to pull everything together and take care of everything from laundry to cooking to groceries to helping your friends. And it's, it's starting to take a toll on you. You've been talking to me about needing to lay down and just be in bed. And so this card is definitely saying, you've kind of reached, especially your mental capacity, but also your physical capacity. And really contemplating, because the 9 is like almost the completion. Like, what is it that still needs to happen? What one sword to get to the 10 still needs to happen? What one action, or sometimes it's cutting something out. So when we're missing that one sword, we're saying, no, I'm not doing this. And you may have to really adjust your priorities in this next year to make sure that you're getting enough rest. And, I say this to you while I'm also, struggling with this myself. So anytime you have a chronic illness and you're also trying to function in greater society, we're going to have these. There's a lot of worry on your mind, a lot of things to consider, a lot of different aspects and implications. And so, trying to organize your thinking, maybe making lists of things, sitting down and writing it out if you like to journal, or, I don't know what this looks like for you. But there's definitely some things that need to be adjusted so that you are not always feeling in this space. And that's really hard when you're trying to make a living, when you're trying to take care of a household, and when you're trying to work and care for yourself as a chronically ill person. But this is going to be really vital that you get your mental thinking into order. You get it categorized, you understand what you're going to think about, obsess about, and what you're not going to think about and obsess about, and making sure that you're getting enough rest. It's really, really important. And the reason is that you know, you have some decisions to make, right? Here's the crossroads. This is the Two of Swords. So again, a lot of mental energy, a lot of decision-making processes, a lot of organization, whatever that may be. But, you know, behind you is this vista. Behind you is like all of this world of possibility. And yet she is kind of stuck behind this structure. So she has a foundation, but it's not working for her as well as maybe something out here would. But going out there, it can be really scary. And you don't know. I've seen you just in the couple of years that I've known you take some big leaps and some big risks. And so you know how to do that. Here we have the moon energy. And whatever that is on this one side, because like here's the side you're already on, right? You already know, you're already sitting there, you're already on this pedestal. There's kind of a wall. It kind of feels like it's holding her in place, whatever that means for you. But this direction here is starting to reveal itself. There's something new coming. There's a new place for you. There's a new home for you. There's new work for you. There's new resources for you, whatever that may be, but you're not yet seeing it because she is blindfolded, right? So sometimes we can't see what we can't see, but over this next year, and you know, being 46, if you add those two numbers together, 4 and 6 makes 10, and 10 and 0 makes 1. So you are ready for a new beginning. This is coming, but you're going to have to choose between potentially 2 things, or even 3 things. But there is something waiting for you out there. But you need a boat. You need a boat. I mean, you can't get across this water without a boat. So that's what you're thinking about. Like, how do I get a boat? And that's starting to emerge for you. And then you'll be able to turn around and get in and sail away, which is usually like the 6 of Swords, when we're like leaving something behind that doesn't suit us, whatever that may be for you. The next energy that came through was the King of Cups, right? The King of Cups. And so this is a masculine energy, or like an outward pouring energy, meaning I think that over this next year, you're going to find a lot more contentment and stability. So you see the difference between the foundation that she is sitting on, which is kind of, it's solid. It looks like granite or something like that, but it's smaller, right? It doesn't protect her, it doesn't have her back. And this one, in this case, is protective. Like he's completely surrounded, he's supported. Yes, there's water here, and yes, there's waves coming up, but he's elevated above all of that drama. And so this is going to be a really important energy for you to step into. How in your outward life, in your relationships with people and the work you're doing in the world and in your social media, whatever that may be, how do you sort of project this like, I am seated, I have what I need, I make what I need, I'm looking at what I love, what makes me feel safe and protected and connected and elevated in my energy and happy, and what is that for you? You know, I think this is a question we have to just keep asking ourselves over and over, like, how do I move from the 2 of Swords to the King of Cups is a constant process, especially when you live with chronic illness. I mean, you're thinking about going from like worry, anxiety, exhaustion, fatigue, too much on your mind, too many things to decide on. Then you make a choice. Okay, then you make a choice. And this choice is starting to reveal itself, what it will be, what the resources will be for you, because this person is resourced. This person has what they need to take care of themselves, to be safe, to be happy. So this is what you're moving towards in this next year. Fuck yeah. All right, let's do it. And then we have the Empress. And of course, we know that the Empress is the queen of intuition, following her knowing, trusting who you know that is safe, who you know is connected, what kind of opportunities are good for you, what kind of decision making is good for you. And you know, you see that in her hands she has like a scroll, which might be that you are learning. some new skills or some new information that's going to change everything. Again, we see that crescent moon reflected here. She is also well supported. So, you know, here's kind of the integration of the masculine and feminine versions within ourselves, or maybe this plays out on an external stage for you. You know, being content, being resourced, rising above, managing our emotions and learning emotional intelligence at even a deeper level. This is I believe emotional intelligence is something that we develop like over a lifetime. So it's not like we take a class and now we're emotionally intelligent. No, we learn about a piece of it and then we try it out with other people and we see what works and what doesn't until we get to this place where we can feel our emotions and we can sense into everything that we need. And yet it doesn't overcome us. It doesn't envelop us, right? And so here they are both on their throne. They both have a, you know, they have this sort of like blue, purple sort of royalty sacredness to it. Really, you know, I think one of the things that happened for me during menopause and after was getting really clear about who I am, what my core principles are in my life. And also, you know, deciding what kind of shit I was going to put up with and what shit I wasn't. And it didn't always make me popular. I lost family because of it. I lost friends because of it. But when I say what I mean, and I mean what I say, and I listen to my knowing, and I call out things that don't seem right, you know, life gets better for me. I'm not perfect for sure, but better. You know, I'm more in my power. You can see the kind of stance that she has, her posture, very, very different posture than this, right? So it's easy for us to get into this place. I've been there a fucking million times where I'm just like, why me? Why do I have to have this pain? Why are things so difficult for me? And I can get into that sort of victim mentality. And sometimes we are victims. So I'm not trying to shame or say that we shouldn't talk about trauma. We shouldn't do our healing. Sometimes we are victims of other people's bad behavior. But we can also do it to ourselves in some ways as well. And so where do you want to sit over this next year? Do you want to sit here or do you want to sit on your fucking throne and put your crown on? And, you know, I mean, I have to keep doing this over and over for myself. Keep remembering like who I am as a witch, who I am as an empath, how talented I am, how much I can see and perceive. And you have these gifts as well, my friend. And there's just like abundance and bounty, all these vegetables growing. There's very strong support here and with the columns. And of course, there's some cats there and the moon magic at the bottom. So we have it here as well. Things are emerging for you and they will be emerging for you. So you will be wrapping up some cycles in your life in this next year. And then other things will be coming to bring you into that greater sense of stability, empowerment, self-trust. And who is here for all of it? Me. I am so here for that for you, my friend. All right. Oops, I got a little piece of mint. All right, Sacred Rebels. Let's see what the overarching energy is for Ana Borja's next solar return. Thank you, Spirit, for letting us know. What is the main energy that Ana needs to be aware of so that she can step into and make this transformation from feeling very like down and mentally and physically fatigued and moving into feeling empowered and resourced and secure and sure of yourself and so forth. All right, so 2 cards wanted to come out and we're going to roll with it. The first one is big, bold vision. Okay, you see this kind of energy too. There's a lot of sort of, you know, I'm not a huge fan of like monarchies and actual royalty and people like living like parasites off of other people. That's not what I'm into, but there is a sense that we step into our personal power. And the way we do that is we have a vision for our life. We say, here are a few things that I really want to work towards on an interpersonal level, maybe in my relationships, and maybe in my career, okay? Maybe you're thinking, well, I've never really had a career. and I don't know if I should say this to you, but it's coming through, so I'm going to say it. Maybe you think, well, I've never really had a career. I've had jobs, but I've never had a career. If a career is something that you want, right? Because she is a leader, this one here. She is a fierce fucking leader. And so if you want some kind of career and you want to create that and make that for yourself in a way that's kind of non-traditional, and I'll show you the next card in a moment. So again, we have this activation here at the third eye, right? A lot of pollination of thoughts and ideas. So instead of engaging in worry and anxiety and about the things that maybe we can't control, how do we step into really focusing on like, what is my vision? Okay. So for me, not to make this reading about me, but for example, one of my visions in the past was to become a mentor for empaths. And because I held that very strongly, I took specific actions and I listened to my knowing and I reached out to people and I invested in myself and my company and so forth. And then I made that happen. It took some time. It does take some time. You can't start something and then boom, usually you're going to get instant results. You have to put the work in. But first you have to have the vision. And that means right here, you can see this moth spirit at the throat chakra. So this is articulating that vision, whether you're going to talk with people about that vision, whether you're going to write it down. We talked about getting yourself organized and getting our thoughts organized and categorized and priorities. When we start to put our priority on improving our life and on doing meaningful, purposeful work and interaction with other people, well, then we step more into this confidence, into this royalty. We see our posture change. Sorry, I got a little stiffness in my shoulder. I'm still working on that. But you can see, like, she's no nonsense. She's not taking shit, and she isn't blindfolded anymore, right? She isn't blindfolded anymore. She knows exactly where she wants to go and what she wants to do. And this is, something that's going to occur for you in this next year. It's really exciting. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. Big, bold vision. So what is your vision, my friend? I'd love for you to share it with me. I mean, what is it that maybe you've always wanted to do or try, but you just felt like, I don't have the skills. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know anybody in that field, or I don't know anything about that particular goal. You can do it if you want it. Magic is just, as I understand it, is simply intention followed by aligned actions. So we have a strong intention that we believe in, that we care about, and the way we want to show up and what we want to do with our lives and how we want to apply our energy. And then we speak that out to ourselves, to the universe, to other people. And then we begin to take actions on that to make it happen. And for you, whatever this is, and you get to define what this is. I'm just giving you different examples, but maybe there's something completely different. Whatever you're going to do is going to be against the grain. Okay. This is the Sacred Rebels deck, right? So she is literally, there are like birds flying underwater. And of course she's naked and saying, I don't care. I'm not ashamed of being naked. I love it. I'm flowing. She's in, instead of being in kind of this mental prison, she's more in the flow, her intuitive flow, her emotional flow, moving, more towards this kind of energy, right? And this kind of energy than that old mental prison and trap. And so just excited for you, just really excited. This is a number 4. So that's also the number of stability. So even though you're going to do something unusual that maybe people don't understand, it doesn't become clear to them. When I told my parents, when I still, talked to my parents, I told them I was going to become a mentor for empaths. They thought I was crazy. Like they didn't understand. And then when I did, I worked on my business, I had that vision, I set those goals, I worked on it a little bit every day, and moved myself forward to the extent that I could with, I had chronic illness back then as well. it started to emerge. I started to be a guest on podcasts. I started to be a guest on online summits. I started to build my social media and have a following in my newsletter. And then I got a chance to host a global summit for a large platform. And, it started from this vision, this idea, and then it emerged into, over time, an enormous growth experience for me, and also a benefit to society. So everything we do is a dual benefit. Let me pull this one up. It's a dual benefit, right? One thing is for us and one thing is for everyone else. One thing is for the community, one thing is for helping others, one thing is for expanding consciousness, however you want to define that. But this year is inviting you to let go of old things, old habits, old mental constructs, ways of thinking, ways of communicating, ways of thinking about yourself, ways of thinking about others that are not serving you well. They're exhausting you, draining you, and cutting out anything from external influences that's not helpful and loving and empowering and uplifting to you. And then really having that bold vision for, where do I want my life to go in these 365 days? I can be a passive participant and just let shit happen to me, which I've done. Or I can, to the extent of my ability, my physical ability, my financial ability, whatever it is, I can actually set that powerful intention and take small actions bit by bit by bit, and interact with new people and look at new ideas and open myself to what's behind me, right? Open myself to what's possible out here. Open myself to the fact that, you know what, a boat is going to show up, and then I'm going to get in, and I'm going to know how to row it or sail it, and then I'm going to move on, and then I'm going to steer by my intuition, and I'm going to get there to this new shore, this new land, with my big bold vision. And people aren't going to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. It won't make sense to most people, but it makes sense to you. It's pure. It's exactly your essence. There's no masks, no clothing, no artifice, nothing. It's just you and this bird, these flocks of, I think they're doves. Yeah, they're these flocks of doves. You're just in this peaceful, like embryonic womb sort of space where you get to develop whatever your big bold vision is. So I hope this was helpful to you. I'm so excited to be a support system and walk beside you as you take this journey this next year. I am so grateful that you and I ran into each other, not randomly, at the Movimiento, and that we developed this friendship. And I just love you so much. Please know I think about you a lot, even if I'm not texting. I've just been very busy with the farm, trying to get everything ready for winter. We're stocking wood now. We're sealing up windows. We're just doing a lot of, that kind of thing, and also job searching. So please know I love you. I care about you, and things are going to change. Things are going to change, but you get to initiate that, and you get to decide how much, how fast, what it looks like, because this is your fucking life, not anybody else's. And we don't have to just sit and passively take like whatever happens to us, to an extent. I mean, we all have our challenges, and I know for sure that you have some deep things that you're dealing with, and some stressors that I don't understand, or I'm not experiencing. I do have empathy and I do understand, but I'm not experiencing. So within reason and at the pace that you can take it, it's time to let go of all of that, kind of mental cage, and make some decisions for yourself, and do that from a place of like, what is going to elevate me, right? What is going to elevate me? What is going to make me happy? What is going to make me feel safe and content and protected, and just having some joy and having some play and having some fun. This is like, fun is your essence, right? We're talking about your essence. Like, you are the jester, you are the person cracking the jokes, you are you are that person. You're funny and insightful. And so like own that shit. Own it. Own it. And listen to your intuition. Listen to your intuition because you have a lot of court cards here. You know, you have a lot of royalty cards. And, you know, that just tells me that this isn't going to be as hard, whatever it is that you think it might be. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoy this reading. I will talk to you soon. Namaste, my friend. Namaste.